Okay, welcome to part 2. Yeah, so like I was saying earlier before our first recording ended, you're able to see the status code. Now, the status code means that the responses that you get, the meaning of the codes and the responses. So for example, you have transaction completed successfully, or you have not sufficient funds, or you have new transaction, or you have insufficient funds, or you have Monday setup okay, or things like that. You're able to quickly grasp it and say to yourself that, oh, okay, if this is the situation, if this is what the response means, it means that inside our system, it means that we can build something into our system. Oh, when we get insufficient funds, what do we want to do? Do we want to reroute to the second bank account and say, oh, this player has 3 mandates on our system, and once we get insufficient funds, we tell our system to initiate a debit instruction again to debit the second account, which is the backup accounts that the person gave? Or do we want to say that, oh, let our system initiate an email to the user to tell the user that we've tried to debit you and your account is not funded. If you don't fund your account within a certain period of time, we will report you to BVN or something. I'm just giving different examples that you can use response codes to do. Response codes mean a lot in the financial industry, and you'll be shocked what it will do for your business, especially as a PM, when you can understand what this response codes really mean. Yeah, so yeah, I'm happy that is this direct debit I'm reviewing with you guys. Yes, so like I said, the APIs are already automated because of how we documented has. So let me show you, for example, the base URL is already there. Now let me take you through some other things. This is what we call an environment. Here you see environments that are already set up. You can set up an environment for yourself to automate your test. Why an environment very good? It means that you can store credentials on your environment, and it's your like a safe press. You can store your base URL, you can store credentials, you can store username and password, and just pass them instead of putting in account numbers and all that. Yeah. Now this is another place that we call scripts. We have what we call pre and post. Now prerequisite means that before this transaction is passed, what are the things that are very important? So for example, we've written a function to make all our APIs easy to say that let bank code be this, and create random account numbers and set them as collection variables on this collection, which means that these particular things will be on the collection as variables. So instead of passing a phone number in the API immediately, you can just pass them as collection variables, and once you pass them as variables, it should just go and pick it automatically and it will use it to run. Sounds good, right? Yeah. So if your APIs have not been documented like this or be stored like this, maybe one day I can show how to write all the scripts and how to automate some of these endpoints. This is also the post requisite, which means that when the response comes, what do we want to save from the response? So we saved the player account inquiry ref for you. So we ran the script to say that save it as a response for you. So you can see that the endpoints are already kind of saved. See, it already has an account number generated and a bank code generated, and the account type is player. So let's run this. Now let me show you the headers. So the headers of these are part of, now this is my authentication here, which is the secret key. See, it has passed this because we stored it as the environment variable for that collection. So the secret key is already stored. But if an API, for example, is using token, right, you just come here and you pass bearer token. Depending on the type of token it uses bearer token, basic auth. Basic auth means you're passing username and password. If you're using an API key, you can also pass it here. If you're using an AWS signature, you can pass it up depending on what type of authentication that you are using. Postman allows you to do all this, but we are passing a secret key in the header, so which means we don't have to pass it here. Now these are params. Params means that they are parameters that you want to pass for this particular endpoint. Parameters can be page numbers. Parameters sometimes can be serial numbers or customer name. Usually we use query params to query something. Maybe you want to do a get. You want to get certain data to say get the numbers of employees that we have in the system, and when you want to do that get, you cannot pass a query to say the key is number of employees or number of pages, then 1 to 100. Yes, so that's what the parameter we use. So I have my script written, I have my body. Now let me run. So this is the base URL, and click on send. See, it's successful. I didn't do any other thing. Now you are lucky because this API has already been pre-automated. My organization, our product team, will pride in making it easy for customers to test our APIs so that they can easily integrate. So we pay attention to our documentation a lot. So this is the account number, this is the parameter that I need. Now let me click on the second one, which is the beneficiary. Like as I mentioned, it has the account number and the beneficiary name. If you look at here, it has the post and the prerequisite. So good. So now I'm going to run this too, and see, it's going to save this account reference. Now where do I need this account reference? I'll show you. When I want to set up a mandate, I need to pass the beneficiary account inquiry reference and the payer account inquiry reference. It has also done a lot of automation to say it's generated any request ID for me. See, that's what I'm saying, that we've passed in the system to say you can generate request ID, you can set this as generate random first name, random last name. Trust me, Postman does a lot for you. Can generate phone number, can generate anything for you. So you can see all the automations are already done here. So like I said, the shower work did not choke. I can show you what it looks like to go into the squares. And ChatGPT is your friend who must be open to learning, which means that you can ask ChatGPT a lot of questions as a product manager. That guy, how far can you help me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and like that. Like I said, the base URL is there and all that, and I can send this to. From these two calls that I have made, it has already stored the payment account ref and the beneficiary account ref. So I have everything that I need here: the payment ref, the mandate ID, and the request ID. If I show you, you'll be shocked. It has already set it as variables in the collection. So payment identifier, mandate ID, and the request ID, so that I can use it in other things that I want to do. So for example, I want to do request OTP activation, and the body requires that I pass the mandate ID and the request ID, which is already saved in the query. So I can just do this, and it will tell me that it has already been successful. Please specify the 6 digit of the bank code. Please enter your bank. Now we have two kind of mandate activation in Nigeria: OTP banks and non-OTP banks, basically. So it's just a long story for APIs, but I just want to take you through this test from beginning to the end. Now these are dummy data. Like I said, it has already been passed in the API documentation, and if you even see an API that is not automated fully like this and is not being done, they will give you samples, sample request, sample response in those documentation that you can just easily copy and come and paste in Postman. And if they are telling you to run it on Azure, you can easily run it there. So this is already there. Like I run this query now, and if you look at the script is storing this and this that I got from the response. So I go to validate and I click on this. Mandate activation is successful. I have a mandate successfully done. Full test completed, and this is a fixed mandate that I just tested. So I've already seen the flexibility at which this is done. So I'm taking you through the happy part. Like, this is the happy part of a well documented API, an API that has been properly documented, and you can just move through smoothly to understand. Once you are able to do this first leg, then we can now be going to the most difficult ones. But if you have any questions for me, you can drop me a message on my LinkedIn. I can take you through more how to do the script writing and all that. I promise I will do this next week, so I'll take you through it next week. But be free to ask your developers for APIs that they worked on. Ask them for credentials. Try to play around. Try to see how the APIs of the products that you actually build in your organization, try to see how they work, and you'll be amazed. Let me wow you. If something, yes, let's talk product talk. You are seeing error from front end, you are not fighting front end developers. Sometimes it's the back end person that is returning the error to front end. She did not get it. But how will you know when you not test the API? Or the back end, the front end guy is saying, it's back end that is giving me error, it's back end that is giving me error. If you did not test the API, how will you know there is no back end that is at fault? That the back end is expecting something from front end and front end did not pass the parameter. Don't you know that all this body is parameter that somebody's supposed to pass? So imagine I want to build the front end of this thing. I'll be expecting that the mandate ID will be passed by the front end guy, but the front end guy will not pass the mandate ID when he was trying to request from the back end. I don't know who's at fault. So you are able to see the truth easily like this. So just hit me up, LinkedIn, drop a message. If you have questions, drop questions. But your assignment for this week, ask your backend developer, give me one API, let me see, I want to try it out. I want you to try it out. I want you to post it on your LinkedIn and say you've challenged yourself to be a technical product manager. And if this is your first time hearing about API, or you're a prospective product manager, you can try any API. Go to Facebook, go to Google, continue with Google is an API, go to Skype, come to Remita. Our own is developers at remita.net. Try different various platforms and you're able to test APIs and see how it works. So have a great week, guys. Bye.